गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
गुड मॉर्निंग अंकित, मुझे डेली अटेंडेंस सेंड कर देना है ना, स्नैपशॉट्स लेके।
ओके ओके मैम, ग्रुप पे ही कर दिया करेंगे।
हाँ, और
दिन
ना एक एक्सेल शीट मेंटेन कर लेना है ना, डेली अटेंडेंस की।
ओके मैम ओके।
डेट वाइज ना, जैसे कल की क्लास हुई थी ना
हाँ हाँ
19 में, तो कल की क्लास की डेट वाइज अटेंडेंस मेंटेन कर लेना, ऐसे ही 20th के है ना ऐसे।
ठीक ठीक मैम। और ग्रुप पे तो शेयर करते रहेंगे, तो जब 4-5 दिन की हो जाया करेगी तो एक्सेल पे मेंटेन कर दिया करेंगे।
जैसे भी करना है कर लेना, पर एक एक्सेल शीट चाहिए मुझे है ना, जिसमें सारी अटेंडेंस मेंटेन
ओके
हो
ओके
डेट वाइज।
ओके मैम ओके मैम।
डेली या 2 दिन बाद कर लोगे तो ठीक रहेगा। और ना वो भी एक
यस
फोल्डर बना लेना, उसमें ना स्नैपशॉट्स भी ना डेट के हिसाब से फोल्डर में एक रख लेना।
ठीक है ओके
हाँ,
मैम।
ये सारी अटेंडेंस बाद में जाएंगी ना, इस वजह से इनका कलेक्शन
हाँ
रखना
हाँ
छोड़ देंगे। तो एक फोल्डर में सारी डेट वाइज स्नैपशॉट्स भी रख लेना और एक एक्सेल शीट मेंटेन कर लेना।
ओके मैम।
ओके। प्रिंस यादव, प्रिंस अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ। प्रिंस यादव। प्रिंस, प्रिंस यादव। अंजलि, एम आई ऑडिबल?
यस मैम।
ओके।
Yes, ma'am.
ओके। So good morning, students. So today we'll continue our first unit of data mining.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So in between, if you have any problem, you just write on the chat box, okay? During the lecture. Is the slide visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So on the last ones, we are talking about the data mining. What the data mining is? Data mining is basically a process of extracting and discovering pattern in the large databases. Now the challenge we have is the ever increasing of amount of the data. We have talked about much examples yesterday on which how the data is increasing.
मैम
Yes.
मैम स्लाइड पहले शेयर कर दीजिए तो हम लोग कुछ पढ़ लेंगे क्योंकि कभी विजुअल रहती है कभी
On
नहीं रहती
today's
है.
turn, I will share the slide. Okay.
ओके मैम.
Actually, I
क्योंकि
have
नेटवर्क
taken
इशू
the
हो
slide
जाएगा
on the
तो
very
विजुअल
same
नहीं
turn, so it's not possible to share it previously.
ओके मैम.
Okay.
थैंक यू मैम.
So after the class, I will definitely share this slide with you. Okay, so the problem is that actually this is basically a discussion class. If you have any problem during the lecture, you just unmute yourself and ask. Okay.
ओके मैम.
So how to manage this ever increasing data? For that purpose, we need data mining or the, KDD, the knowledge discovery in databases. As I have told, in upcoming lectures, we will discuss KDD in detail. So we have skipped this question. Now we'll come to this. What is the definition of KDD? The official definition of KDD is non-trivial extraction of implicit and previously unknown and potentially useful knowledge from the data. It means that those patterns are extracted which are useful, meaningful, and previously not known. This is the purpose of KDD. And one of the stage is KDD, and that stage is discovery stage. That is basically your data mining stage. So we can say the process of discovering pattern automatically or semi-automatically in large quantities of the data. Discovering patterns means we have to identify the subjects and what is the relationship between two subjects. Automatically means there are some algorithm that is automatic and there are some algorithm which is not automatic, in which there may be a combination of two algorithms or maybe you are providing some input data. Okay. So we are basically extracting the patterns and the method can be automatic or semi-automatic. And where we are extracting from large quantities of the data. As I've told you, we are extracting from data warehouses in which we have the collection of data that is stored for 10 years, maybe 5 years, and so on, like that. You need a collection of huge amount, and from that huge amount of data, you are extracting the pattern. The pattern discovered must be useful, meaningful, in that they lead some advantage, usually economic. Usually economic means usually when we are discovering some patterns, there should be a relation with money. When we are talking about a market analysis, there is always related to money. You are extracting pattern because you are formulating some marketing strategy based upon that patterns. That is the need. Na? Why we are extracting patterns? Because we have to take some intelligent decision based upon those patterns. That's why the data mining is important to you. You are identifying some patterns and you are taking some decision on those patterns. So KDD and data mining, it is basically data mining is interdisciplinary field. It is related to every field. How it is related to? It is related to KDD because it is a discovery stage of the KDD. Okay. How it is related to machine learning? Because it involved all the machine learning techniques for the extraction of patterns. Machine learning techniques, as I've told, there are some machine learning techniques like genetic algorithm, k-nearest neighbors, and neural network. These are all machine learning techniques. So data mining is related to machine learning also. Statics means I've told you the regressions models are used. So it is related to statics. Whenever you are performing any data, first you have to do the statistical analysis of that data. Statistical analysis means how the data will look like. What is the spread of the data? What is the maximum value of the data? What is the minimum value of the data? These are some statistics of the data. Whenever you are doing analysis, first find out the statistics of the data. How it is related to visualization? Visualizations means whenever you are finding any patterns, it is hard to code in the text forms. So you always need visualization algorithm. For that, you need bar plots, histograms, pie charts, etc. So visualization is very important part to show the data in a proper visual way where anyone can identify what is the data look like, what is your pattern look like, and how you can take a decision. Now, one part is database. As I told, this data mining is related to large databases. Databases is collection of data. An expert system. Expert system are intelligent systems which can learn something depending upon the data. So as we can see, the data mining is a multidisciplinary field in which we are somehow taking the algorithm part, maybe the data part, maybe the representation part. So all the things are collectively related to data mining. So what is the rise of the data mining? What is the reasons behind the data mining? The reasons behind is the first one is the organizational databases. What we mean by that? Actually, as the size of the company grows, it is hard to maintain data manually. So what they do, they are collecting their databases in an organizational databases form where they have the data of clients, their clients or the products, or maybe in the interrelations between the clients and products. Then we have the network continues to grow. Network continues to grow means we have the interrelationship of the databases. Like one database is stored at particular city and another database is stored at particular city. We have the connection between these two databases. So network grows, so we can easily identify between the patterns as we have a collection of networks. Then we have the involvement of machine learning techniques. With the help of machine learning techniques, now it is feasible to get into the data easily and to identify the patterns. So machine learning techniques are involved and it makes data mining task very easy. The fourth point is client server revolution. The client server revolution is like that. If you're accessing the data at the client side, you can connect to your servers and you can access those data. So all these things gives the rise of the data mining. So let's see how the data mining and query tools different. As I told that SQL will extract exactly what you have looking for. You know, if you know exactly what you are looking for, you can use the SQL command. But if you don't know that exact value which is stored in the data and you have to identify some intelligent or hidden patterns that is vaguely stored into the database, then we use the data mining techniques. Okay, because we are identifying the patterns, we are not exactly extracting the information. Exactly extracting the information is, suppose I am identifying the students whose grade is A. So we just write a SQL query, select name of the students and give the conditions where the grade is A. So what we are looking for? We are looking for the exact data. Okay. And suppose we have to identify the students which are above average. Like it's not necessary that grade A is a very intelligent person. Maybe उसने रट लिया हो, लिख दिया हो copies में, and he got the A. So if you want something vague patterns in which you are identifying the knowledge depending upon the data and which is not exactly stored, then we need a data mining techniques. Now, suppose as I'm telling you this example, we have to find out those students who are above average. Like I am observing a pattern in your class during my online lectures, who are giving answer, who is not giving answer. Maybe he is not well written in the copies, but if he answered me very well, I can recognize his IQ level is okay with me. So these kind of techniques, which is not exactly there, but we are finding it with the help of our intelligence. Okay, so that is your data mining. And how we are doing in automatic manner, we apply some machine learning techniques. So what is the practical implementation? In KDD, we usually use 80% of the data for preparing the data and only 20% for mining the data, because the data is very huge in amount. If we are talking about 100% of the data, so only 80% of data is used for the preparation, and 20% is the mining data. Matlab only 20% is that data which is useful and will give future insights to us. So data mining is not a single technique. As I've told, it's related to various fields, machine learning, statistics. So any techniques which gives you hidden data, that will your data mining techniques. Okay. So as a data mining techniques, we have query tools, statistical technique, visualization, Colab tool, online analytical processing, case-based learning, k-nearest neighbors, decision trees, association rules, neural network, genetic algorithm. In the upcoming chapters, we will discuss all these in detail. These are all introduction part. Here is our first topic. The first topic is what is learning. Okay. So is there any problem up till now, students? Reply me. Is there any problem up till now?
Oh.
Reply me in chat. Anjali, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any problem up till now?
No, ma'am.
Mansi Malik. Mansi, unmute yourself. Mansi. Sneha Tiwari.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any problem up till now?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. So let's continue with the lecture. The thing is, the first topic is your learning. So for any learning, we'll have two things. The one is subject and the another one is task. Subject is a person who are performing the task, and task is the thing which is going to be performed. Okay. So for any learning things, we'll have two things. One is task and one is subject. So learning is a transition of a situation to a situation. As I draw a diagram here, there's a transition from situation 1 to situation 2. And this process is called learning. And what is situation 1 and what is situation 2? In the situation 1, the task cannot be carried out. And in situation 2, we can perform a task with the help of learning. After learning, we can perform that task. And the situation is, the circumstances should be same. So the formal definition can be said as, learning is a method of the transition from the situation where the task cannot be carried out to the situation where the task can be carried out. ठीक है. Learning कैसे example करेंगे? जैसे suppose एक real time example is like that. You don't know what is learning, but as I explained this slide, you come to the situation and you can tell what is learning. So whenever we don't know anything and we read out something or we experience something, so we'll come to the situation where we are aware of that thing. Okay. Suppose anyone don't know driving. Okay. So he is in the situation he is not able to perform the task. Okay. So the task is driving and the subject is that person who are going to drive the car. Okay. So here initially in the situation where he don't know the driving. Now he performed a learning. Learning means he he practiced the driving skills, he know what is the gears, how the accelerator works and all these things. So these all phenomena of driving is called learning. Now he come to the situation where he is know how to drive a car. So situation 2 is that in which you are able to perform that task after experiencing the situation or the learning the situation or reading the situation like that. So this is the whole learning process. This learning process is applied to our every algorithm. Initially, when we define an algorithm, it is not able to classify anything. But when we'll give some input, it will perform the learning, and then it will come to the situation that if a new data will come to the algorithm, then it will classify those data. So this is a learning process where a situation 1 to situation 2 transformation occurs. Then we have machine learning and the methodology of the science. What the machine learning and the methodology of science, we have 4 stages of machine learning. Initial stage is observation, then analysis, then theory, and then prediction. You can see this is a kind of cycle. Cycle, it means like first start with observation. Observation is your number of input values. Number of input values means data set or the database. Analysis means you are applying some methods to find out the theory. Theory is your hypothesis. Okay. So you are building some hypothesis. But you have the data, you apply some algorithm on that data. Okay. You perform some analysis and you come to a theory part. Based upon theory, whatever you have developed the theory, you will make certain predictions of the new data. Okay. Just like suppose sometimes you build observations, like sometimes people said, if I wear the yellow color, some bad things will happen to me. How it will, how he can say like that? Because whenever he wears that yellow color, something bad happened to him. Okay. So these are the observations. What analysis he done? He observed his incidences. Now what theory he developed? The developed theory is that whenever he wears the yellow color, some bad thing will happen. Now the prediction is that I will not wear the yellow because some bad thing will going to happen to me. And that theory can may be false, may not be false, but it depends upon who is building that theory. Okay. So always when you are making a theory, certain observations are there. You make some analysis, you build a theory and you will make a prediction. If you make a prediction, that prediction is wrong, then you again observe, then you again look the observations, you do another analysis and you will come to the theory. Suppose that same man wears the yellow color and some good things will happen. Some good thing will happen. So the theory which he make is now falsified. Okay. So now he will again observe those all days in which he wears the yellow color. He'll make some analysis and he make the theory that nothing will happen depending upon the color of the dress. Okay, so this is the prediction. In similar way, in machine learning, we'll look for the observations, we'll do the analysis, we'll make theory and we'll make predictions. So this is one of the one more real-time example. So in reality, there is infinite number of swan. The observation is, what is the observation? He is taking the limited number of observation. Like he only takes 4 swans. Okay. You do some analysis and what theory he make? The theory he make that all swans are white. On which basis he make that theory? He make the theory on the basis of limited observations. Because in reality, it's not feasible to observe all the swans. Okay. So what it do, it will only take a limited number of observation, do the analysis and come to the theory that all swans are white. Now we have to check whether this theory is correct or not. To check this theory, we have to take our test data. Test data means a new set of observation. Okay. In the new set of observation, if all swans are white, then the theory is correct. But if any of the swan is black, then theory is falsified, because we have made the theory that all swans are white, but one of the test data is of black swan. So the theory is now falsified. So we can make the predictions, but only a single observation can even falsify the theory. So whenever you are building the theory, you have to look for as much as data as you can, because as much as data as you can, the theory will be possibilities. It's a possibility that whatever theory you have made, it will be correct. Okay. So now the next is concept learning. Concept learning is basically you are talking about a concept. The good learning algorithm is that is consistent and complete. What we mean by consistent and complete? Consistent means it is not able to classify a negative example, and complete means it will classify all example, but it will classify all example. So you have one of the topic in your syllabus, the kangaroo in the mist problem. Okay, so kangaroo in the mist problem, suppose algorithm is there which is identify whether the animal is kangaroo or not kangaroo. Okay, so if I run this algorithm and just find provide the input of any animal, suppose I give the loin as an animal, and the algorithm will run and it will classify loin as a kangaroo. Okay, so it will give a negative example, correct. So it is a not consistent algorithm. Okay, it have to classify only those animals which are kangaroo. Suppose whatever animal input is there, it have to only identify which are kangaroos. And complete means suppose out of 10 animals, 8 are kangaroos. So it have to identify all 8 kangaroos. If the algorithm is able to identify only 6 animals as a kangaroo, then algorithm is incomplete algorithm. So whenever you are building any algorithm, it should be consistent and as well as complete. What is the characteristics of concept learning? It depends upon certain factors, and that factor is classification accuracy, transparency, statistically significance, information content, and complexity of search space. Classification accuracy means, as I've already told, it should not classify non-negative example. Transparency means whatever value it is classified, it should be transparent. It have to classify all the data. Statistical significance means whatever the result, that should be meaningful. It will give some important statistics. Okay. Information content means the information should be useful in certain way. Complexity of search space means you have to know where you are going to search the data, where you are going to extract the information. A very good example is kangaroo in the mist example, to look for the complexity of search space. Okay, so we'll see all these pictures one by one, and we have to find out what is the complexity of search space. Okay, so look at the first pictures in which you are not aware of about the landscape. The objective of kangaroo is there. A kangaroo is placed in a mist, all around there is a fog. Okay, and he has to reach at the highest position of the landscape. Okay, so this is the objective, and now you have to find out the solution. You have to write an algorithm where he can reach at the highest position of the landscape, and we'll see how the landscape will vary and what is the complexity a kangaroo will face during the search. So look at the first picture. If you're looking at the first picture, that what happened, a kangaroo is there and everywhere around the mist, but there is no information about the landscape. You don't know how the data will look like. So if the kangaroo start jumping, So it's very impossible to reach the highest position because you don't know about the landscape. The first situation is very complex situation. Okay. Now come to the B image, in which if you are looking at the landscape, there is only one, you can say one high landscape. You can see one peak is there. Okay. So whenever the kangaroo will rush, it is a surety that it will reach to the point where a high optimum is there. Okay. Okay, because only a single elevation is there, so it's a possibility that kangaroo will reach that elevation point at some moment of time. Okay. Now at the third position, you can see lots of landscapes are in the landscape. Lots of high elevations are there. Okay, in the third picture. So if the kangaroo is jumping, it's very hard to reach at one of the landscape, but it may be a possibility that it somehow will reach at one of the elevated points, but it is difficult. The search space is difficult. Now at the fourth point, you can see there are very high strip peaks. So in the peaks, if the kangaroo start jumping, so it's very difficult to reach the elevation points because there are the peaks, points are there. Okay, so it's difficult. The E point is there is only a single point where the elevation is there, single point. So it's also a situation where the kangaroo will lie into local minima. The solution for this problem is that if there are so many kangaroos and there are so many elevated space, so there may be a possibility that at a certain time, at a certain instance, one of the single kangaroo will reach to the highest point. So this is one of the possible solutions. There are many other possible solutions also. Okay. So in all these images, we can see all the search spaces are different. And depending upon the search spaces, we have to reach on the maximum or the minimum of the problem. So whenever an algorithm needs to be developed, the complexity of search space need to be identified first, and then the algorithm should be developed. Okay. So that's all with today's lecture. Now I will share a slide, and before the starting of the next lecture, I will ask about this previous lecture. So the next lecture is scheduled on Friday at 9 a.m. So you guys have 2 days. Go through the slides. I will also give the snapshots of this book also. Go through the book also. And I will ask some questions before taking the next lecture. Okay, so that's all with today's lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.